with these doubles, and would you agree with that with Michael Jackson?
Well, I know one of the last appearances Michael Jackson made, I didn't think he even looked human, to be quite honest. So,
it's true. All he did was giggle.
If you can change,
sorry.
If you can change a nice-looking, normal African-American man into a white, I don't know what he was, and people still believe it's the same person, then it's a little bit worrisome.
Oh, so you felt that he was changed out already, long before this O2 fiasco?
Well, I have not researched Michael Jackson in depth, but I do remember the Pepsi commercial where his hair caught on fire, and I saw the video. That was back in, 1983, and that looked really bad. And a lot of people are speculating that his injuries were a lot worse than we were led to believe, and maybe the switch took place then, or one of the switches.
Well, it definitely looked to me. So why would the Illuminati use this type of technique? Let's discuss some of the reasons for doubles.
Well, it's mainly to exploit a person's popularity. If a person is dangerous, or if they don't like the person, but he's not particularly popular, they won't replace him, because what would be the point? If he is popular, then he can be used to push the agenda, whichever agenda it is. And with Paul McCartney, I think it was the LSD or the drug agenda as part of MK Ultra, and possibly Paul was causing problems. The Beatles started talking about Vietnam, and already in 1966 they were speaking out against it. And also the Butcher album cover, I think, was a coded message, and maybe it went too far. So, but they did manage to exploit Fall quite well in how he was actually the first British rock star to talk about taking LSD. You can imagine what kind of impact that had for fans. Oh, I think I'll try that too. That sounds cool.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Do you think Obama's trying to get us all to smoke pot? you heard him say that he inhales. He says that's what it's for, right?
He inhales. It could be. But like I said, I think that the use of doubles is a lot more widespread than people think, and I think the technology that supports doubles is a lot more advanced than people think, because if you go back already to World War II, they had this special operations executive in England was already using plastic surgery on doubles. Of course, they would use disguises, and there is a master disguise maker named Robert Barron, who was with the CIA for a long time, and now he's making prosthetics for people who have been injured or burned or whatever. He's making them new faces. But there are lots of articles on the internet about his techniques and how he could turn a woman into a man, he could turn a Caucasian into an Asian, and these were disguises that would pass close scrutiny. And he said that if a spy had even an eyebrow out of place, it could give him away and cost him his life. So these are very convincing disguises, and then on top of that, you have the plastic surgery. So already back in 66, 67, I don't think that Fall's disguise is really that good, because people noticed. People noticed already in 1967 that something was wrong. There was a rumor that went around England that Paul was in a car crash, and the Beatles Monthly magazine put out a little, I guess you could say, disclaimer that it was just a false rumor, but people were noticing. And if people realize just how sophisticated some of the technology is, for example, Arkin, there's an article with the Washington Post by Alan Arkin, I believe, that was from 10 years ago, talking about voice technology and how they can make anybody sound like anybody with the technology already in existence then. So you can't really believe what you see or believe what you hear.
Well, I hear that type of voice technology being used all the time, and it's even it was popularized mostly by Madonna, and now it's become actual, like a sound effect that people are using. But this was a device that would keep them on key, so that their little mind control slaves didn't even actually have to be able to sing. They could just attach them to this device, and they're all in tune, right?
Absolutely. That's part of it. So you have a lot of supporting technology for the double already in the mid-'60s. Color contacts, for example. Sometimes you see fall with brown eyes, sometimes with green eyes. And people say, well, how could that be? Well, color contacts came out on the market in the early 80s. Sabisa Vision, I think, was the first one. But that doesn't mean that they weren't available to certain entities long before that. So it's just part of the fake out. If people knew that it was possible, then they could see when it actually happens, and they would be more alert to differences.
Well, that man that they brought out as Saddam Hussein for the hanging, that man did not look like the man I knew of as Saddam Hussein at all. Well, we are coming up on another break. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I wanted to give out the phone numbers if you guys want to call in the next hour, and I will be getting into some of the space news. I can't avoid that. There's been some interesting things coming to light there, so we'll get into that. But so on the other side, next hour, we'll take your phone calls, Tina and I. So if you want to phone in, the numbers are 512-904-8014, so 904-8014, or 866-841-1065. So come on and phone in, and let's get this discussion going. Let's have a look at this picture, because it is being used against us. There's no doubt about it. And they can bring up these despots. They can bring up someone like Saddam Hussein, make him a total criminal, and then kill some double or duplicate in his stead so that he never has to pay for that crime. And how many people are doing this, and how many times, how many doubles will we sacrifice without ever killing the right people? So this is the Free Zone. You're listening to Oracle Broadcasting Network, and we'll be back on the other side. We're in a whole another hour. Looking forward to it. Stay tuned. All right. Well, we've got a host of phone calls waiting here to talk with you, Tina. We definitely seem to have struck a popular chord with this whole Paul McCartney is dead and doubles and the ideas of doubles. Definitely get to talking more about Saddam Hussein and some other ideas that might come up. But, boy, the phone lines are just lining up. So if you want to call in, it's 512-904-8014 or 866-841-1065 outside the U.S. for those of you that are staying up late and listening to the Free Zone. So, Tina, let's you ready to take some calls?
Sure, sounds great.
All right, let's see. We got Brian in Maryland. Brian, you're on the air.
Hi, Brian.
Hey. What's on your mind?
Yes. Well, I've been involved in this subject for over 5 years.
Are you talking about doubles? Or Paul McCartney?
No, Paul McCartney.
Okay.
Yeah, researching Paul McCartney for over 5 years, and I've looked at hundreds of pictures of him and videos. I've seen all the Beatles movies, all their videos.
What do you say, double or no?
Definitely a double. Definitely a double. But there's a pattern that starts to develop when you're looking at these pictures, and there's some certain features that, come across in terms of the height of Paul McCartney and the shape of his head.
Yes, we definitely covered all of that. Did you have a question?
Well, to sum up, I don't really have a question, just more of a comment, but if you're, to sum up what Tito was talking about with the forensic, people, what they did was basically, in simplest terms, fall